Dhamaka, Dhamaka.
Dhamaka!
My name is Lakhan.
जहाँ खड़े हो जाते हैं लाइन वहीं से शुरू होती है।
तुमने कभी किसी से प्यार किया?
But yeah, we're talking about Chashme Buddoor this episode. We should do the
Hello and
intro,
welcome
right?
to the Khandan podcast.
Exactly. My name is Asim Bernie and I'm joined with my lovely co-host Sujoy and Amrita. Hey Amrita, hey Sujoy.
Hey everybody.
Hello.
We're reaching towards the end of the 80 series, guys.
Not that we are counting
Weirdly
down or
enough, the
anything.
final stretch is like getting longer and longer. The more we try to wrap up the series, something or the else, turns up.
It's okay. I think we're fine. We're
Yeah.
ending it in grace and beauty and elegance, So
Yes,
that's
yes.
what's happening. So yeah, we're at this episode. No, let's talk about next episode. It's going to be not the next episode that comes out necessarily, but the next episode in the 80 series is going to be the final episode. It's going to be Mr. India, the ultimate 80s movie, I would say. But we're also going to be reading a few of your messages, a few of your comments, and just giving our general thoughts about the 80s. So it's going to be kind of like a wrap-up episode with Mr. India. So that's what we're kind of planning. Let's see if it comes out after War 2, if we're reviewing that or we're not reviewing that. I'm traveling, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch it. Also, I have watched the songs of War 2. I have looked into Hrithik Roshan's eyes, and he knows this movie is going to be disappointing. I can see like jhalak dikhla ja, wo jhalak disappointment ki dikhai usne. Like I've seen it. Yeah, so it looks really bad. I'll be honest. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys excited for War 2?
No, I'm excited for Coolie actually. I think Coolie is going to be the big event movie of the summer. But I will watch War 2. I will watch it at some point. I will.
Yeah.
I'll watch it day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then send us your thoughts. I want to know because I'll be
Yeah,
traveling. I'll only come back by the 20th, and I don't know if I'll immediately be able to go watch it. Let's see if I can. Then definitely we'll record it. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be after. So, but this episode we're doing Chashme Buddoor. This was kind of like a replacement movie, right? We almost didn't get this one in. We were gonna get. We were trying
Delhi
to do
Times.
New Delhi Times, which we couldn't find a print. But since then, there's apparently a new print that came out, so we could have done it. But there were a few people that were really kind of looking forward that we would do Chashme Buddoor. So I mean, these were the ones that were. I think this was one of the Patreon picks. So yeah, if you want to decide where Khandan sometimes goes, go to Patreon, sign up there. Is this a movie you guys had watched? Is this a beloved movie for you guys, Amrita, Sujoy?
Yes, but before I talk about Chashme Buddoor, I just wanted to say New Delhi Times is a wonderful movie, and the restored print is, I think, available on Amazon. But it is
Shimaru's
it has
YouTube
been
as well.
Shimaru's YouTube. Okay, but it is it has been cropped. There's like about 10 or 12 minutes missing from the original print, and it has been resized, which is something that Shimaru does all the time.
Yeah.
And it is horrendous. So if you decide to watch New Delhi Times, that is the caveat. Just wanted everyone to know that it's missing. No, I think it's only like 2 or 3 minutes. It's not like 12 minutes. Maybe I'm just misremembering. But a lot of people did point it out. So that is context that you should have.
Were the 2 minutes just like shots of Shashi Kapoor reading a paper and smoking a pipe?
You haven't seen New Delhi Times,
No,
right?
I really want to. This is a genre I really like. I don't know. I like about newspapers and news and media. I like movies about that. Like I like Run. Remember that movie with Amitabh and I think it was called Run.
Yeah.
I really like.
Yeah, okay.
R-A-N-N.
The RGV.
Yeah.
I really like that movie. Like I
Yeah,
just
I
like
thought
this
you
kind of.
meant Run as in RU and with Abhishek Bachchan.
That which also was a good movie, but Run with Amitabh, I thought that was really good.
But coming back to Chashme Buddoor, I have some very strong memories of this film. I don't think I remember the whole of it. There were like a lot of things that I saw this time, and I was just like, oh, I didn't remember this part. But I do remember the wall of like the cutouts,
The porn wall,
in the
80s
porn
porn
wall.
wall.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that, and I remember being like, "Oh my god, scandalous!" And also, I remember Miss Chumko. Like those are my
Mhm.
two very strong memories of this film, especially Miss
Hmm.
Chumko. And I literally thought her name was Miss Chumko for like I mean I didn't interrogate my memories of it. I just thought that she was Miss Chumko in the film. But of
Yeah.
course her name is something else. But yeah.
Yeah, we still haven't remembered her name after watching the movie. She'll always be Miss Chamko. I remember Chashme Buddoor as the movie with Kaha Se Aaye Badra. That's the one Hindi
Uh,
Yasuda song, right? That and Sur Mein Akhiyon Mein from Sadma.
yeah.
Those were the two famous Yasuda's Hindi songs. So this was the movie associated with that song for me, and obviously Miss Chamko. But I don't remember watching this as a kid. And probably this was the first time I watched it from the start to finish.
Have you guys seen the remake of this?
Yes, I
No,
have.
You
no.
have?
Yeah, but I can't remember much of it. I remember Dish Kyau Dum Dum, that song. I think it was composed by Sajid Wajid, directed by David Dhawan, who apparently is a big fan of the movie, but it is very Chichora. It's a very Chichora remake of this. And I think even Lalal Mia is played by Rishi Kapoor in the remake, right?
Right.
And Farooq Sheikh's character is played by Ali Zafar.
Yeah.
And
Oh
he's
yeah. Oh
definitely
yeah.
not like Farooq Sheikh in that movie.
And
No.
Tapsi Pannu is playing Dipti
Mhm. Yeah.
character. Right, right. Actually, it's funny because that's spelled with Buddoor with A, and this is with
Mhm.
U. So
Yeah.
that's how you can, like, figure out the difference in terms of SEO if you wanted.
Yeah.
I had never seen this movie. I
Mhm.
had heard so much about this movie, and I think my thoughts on Farooq Sheikh have been, vocalized already. I've gotten a lot of pushback for it. I will
Mhm.
be revisiting, those thoughts in this episode. I was really worried that this movie would be one of those Yadon Ki Barat kind of situation where I just don't get it at all, and it's just like a pain to watch this movie.
Mhm.
I absolutely love this movie, Chashme Buddoor. Like, I was blown away how much I liked it. I did not expect it. I did not think I would, enjoy it, but I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, I think also I was like in the right mood to watch it. I think it's one of those right mood movies.
Mhm.
But I think it has a lot of the elements that I really, really like. It's especially because it has so many of these breaking the fourth wall, the meta, the flashback, all of these storytelling devices
Mhm.
that I really appreciate. It almost feels Farah Khanish or Shrish Kundarish in a way. But I think it's really, really, really fun. So I'm not going to be like, I think our friend Papu Charu was worried that I'd be just dogging on this movie. It's not the case. I absolutely love this movie. I'm so happy that I watched it. And I'm actually happy because of the 80s series that I watched it, because I might my biases might have come into place, and I might not have watched it if it wasn't
Mhm.
for this series. So yeah, this was fun.
Like, my first impression of watching Chashme Badur is it feels very non-Bollywood in a way that this was definitely far distanced from the Bombay movement of making movies. This very much felt like we will set up the same setting but in a Delhi sort of environment. So it very much felt like from the world of Doordarshan, produced by the same people who made these, the Jamia Millia Islamia universities and the JNUs of that circle of Mandi House creatives coming together to make a movie. There was a string of these productions that were, producing parallel to what the Bollywood or the Mumbai film industry was making, and this was very much that. Like Sai Paranjpye was a strong voice from that. She was also known for making a lot of children movies, and like for I think there's a government of India initiative who used to produce these children movies, and Sai Paranjpye was directing them. And then she eventually went on to make feature films. I think she made Sparsh before this, and then uh, Chashme Buddoor was the big one for her career
And
as
then
well.
she also made Katha,
Hmm.
which is like, and I know for a fact that Asim has not watched Katha. But
I mean,
I
you
think
guys
you
are
would.
saying these words, and I don't even know if they're like names. Is it a thing I should be doing? What is this? Never heard of these things. Yeah.
I think you'd really like Katha.
Hmm.
But she had like a real moment in the
Hmm.
80s. And then I don't know what happened to, because these weren't like big mainstream movies or anything, but
No.
I think they were made on a tiny budget, and I think they recovered costs.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened to her career. Or maybe she just didn't want to make movies in Hindi anymore and she preferred to make it in Marathi again. I don't know.
But I think it's kind of an interesting thing because, like, there's this idea now that there was a whole parallel cinema kind of thing that was going on, and there was a healthy environment for it at this time, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of went away, and now it's kind of maybe come back in through the festival kind of zone and stuff like that, driven, I guess, through Anurag Kashyap and things like that. But um, it seems to be very hard to monetize it now. They can't seem to find a revenue model for it.
Yeah.
But I feel this, because the budgets were so small, the actors weren't really like. There was just seemed to be like a lot of like let's get together and get the art made more than
Yeah.
what's the financial goal of it. And this was kind of a movement. So
Yeah.
it's
Like
interesting.
you can tell by the look of this movie, it's very much shot on location. These are actual
Yeah.
flats rather than there are sets put on to, where these guys are living or where Neha is living. The streets are actual Delhi streets, completely empty. It's
Can
very much
I
on location.
Can I tell you a cool fact?
Yeah.
I think you guys might not remember this, but my friend Anila Babar, who
Mhm.
has been on this show before, Anila actually rented that apartment, the apartment that the three
Oh
guys
wow.
live in. She actually lived in that apartment in Delhi for
Just
like
that room, or
no,
just the
like
whole
that.
floor?
No, it's actually a pretty big apartment. Like you
Ah,
can't
okay.
really, they don't really show the entire thing, but it's a fairly large apartment. And also about two buildings over or something was where Shashi Kapoor's daughter lived. Sanjana Kapoor used to live
Sanjana Kapoor.
with her husband and child. So it's a really nice little neighborhood, and that house is still there. It's very cute.
Did she ever need to climb down the pipe and the drain? Like,
No,
did that ever?
no, but like when so Anila came with me to Jaipur Literature Festival a couple of years ago, and Deepti Naval was there promoting her autobiography, and she actually like, and Anila was being like very uncharacteristically, oh, I'm so shy. And I was like, no, you're not. So I like bullied her over, and I was just like, Deepti, you should meet Anila. She used to like live in the Miss Chamko house, because obviously it's not Miss Chamko's house. It is the three men's house, but
Mhm.
it's always going to be like Miss Chamko. It's going to be
Mhm.
the reference point for everything. And yeah, they had a little, meet and greet based on that house.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cute.
Yeah.
Amrita, do you want to give a little summary of what happens in Chashme Buddoor, maybe?
A whole bunch of things, actually.
Yeah.
Like I think the simplest way to put it is it's a sort of slice of life comedy that is also a rom-com, that is also a adventure film, I guess. But it's about these three guys who are friends, and they are sort of um, roommates, and they're living together. And all of them are basically virgins, and they're trying to make it with women, and they're not very good at it. And there's this one young woman who comes into their life entirely by accident, and that's Miss Chamko. And Farooq Sheikh's character ends up having a relationship with her, which drives the other two to actions driven by jealousy. And then there's like a whole list of consequences to that.
Yeah, because both of them have tried it on with her. You know,
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
tried to seduce her.
They have not. they have khayali pulaus of they have tried, and they have flashback dream songs, but they have not even tried.
And to me, like, that is one of the things that like really makes this film stand out. And that is why when you said that David Dhawan had made the remake of this film, I'd forgotten that detail, and I immediately was thinking, oh no. And then you said Ali Zafar, and I was just like, no. Like, this is like the wrong combination, because Ali Zafar, there is no universe in which Ali Zafar is a loser virgin. Like, that is not Ali
Yeah.
Zafar.
Yeah.
You know, you can say a lot of things about Ali Zafar, some of them not very complimentary, but that's not his vibe, bro. And he, like, there's an innocence to these three people, even when they're being like thudky and they're being like pervs, they're exactly this kind of guy who will like go talk to a girl, imagine and fantasize about an entire sequence of events, but not
But
even
get-
say one word.
But get mistaken for a plumber. I laughed so much at that.
I didn't laugh as much as like when she thought he was the plumber, but you know that walk that Rakesh Bedi does out of her house? He's just trying to escape his humiliation.
Yeah.
And that is the funniest thing that I have seen in a long time, where he's just so embarrassed and so humiliated. And you can see it in the way he walks. I mean, that is like a phenomenal performance. I love it.
Yeah. I think lots of men have walked away from Amrita with that walk. That's why she recognized it so so well. It's like, I've made men walk like that.
How many men have you humiliated, Amrita?
No comments.
As plumbers.
But I think one of my favorite things to talk about is always like, the idea of masculinity, and I think this was definitely something, because the idea of side story. Yesterday I was at the gym. No, I was at the what do you call it? This jacuzzi kind of situation, that kind of thing.
Sauna?
Yes, like it's like bubble bath, so there were too many people in the swimming pool.
Hot tub.
Yeah, hot tub. So I went into the like communal hot tub. There's like, it's a big one, and there was this one girl who was sitting in the corner, and this other guy was like talking to her, at her, like the meme where the guy is talking. And clearly the woman was not comfortable with it. And I was like looking at it like, should I be stepping in? Should I be like doing something and stuff like that? But like she had her knees up, like he was talking at her. And at the end of the conversation, so the cycle in the hot tub is like 15 minutes or something like that. At the end of the cycle, he just kept talking. And at the end, he was leaving and he went in for a kiss and she put her hand up and she shook it. And I have not seen such embarrassment in my life. Like, and it weirdly made me think of Chashme Buddoor. It's just this idea of, this whole idea of Andrew Tate masculinity has fried men's brain on how to talk to women, how to understand their body language. And like it's done irreparable damage. I think it's never gonna get good again. And
it's not even like women. It's just like their ability to read any room. Because I work with a lot of like young people, and honestly, like none of them seem to understand like human body language anymore. It's insane.
And the thing, the weird thing, I was kind of like also like I observe thing, I see thing, and then I try to like apply it to me. Obviously, like I'm an older gentleman, so it's not like I'm not in that sphere anymore. But I would say like I'm somebody who talks a lot. I'm a speaker, I'm a podcaster, I'm a sales guy. But when interacting with humans, I tend to listen more than I tend to talk. And it's such a weird thing that, like, when all of your life is meant to do one thing, but when you're dealing with humans, you have to listen. And
Yeah.
men, please listen, because that way you can actually be Farooq Sheikh in this situation, because literally that's what he does. He has a
Yeah.
conversation with her, treats her with respect, and converses with her, even though he clearly is also enamored with her. He is clearly impressed by her, and it's a situation he's not comfortable with. And even in Chashme Buddoor, a few times, that discomfort and the idea of masculinity and what is expected of women and men, that's where the clash lies in this movie, right? So I do think it's interesting, and obviously things have shifted. I think some things are happening or done in this movie that I would now say that they're a bit weird in current times, but I also accept that that's the world these people were living in. Even do think that even for that time, it felt like almost a more modern and liberated era,
Mhm.
especially the way Dipti is having a talk with her dad. I
Yeah.
think that kind of dads you rarely even see now. You would say, like,
Yeah.
probably the Sayara dad comes close to this dad, like the dad in Sayara.
Mhm.
Yes, I know.
Sorry.
I
I
know
thought
which dad you mean.
I thought I was laughing so much that I didn't vocalize what I was saying. Yeah, but yeah, those are just like off the fly thoughts about masculinity that I had when I was watching them.
So this movie is also apparently Ravi Baswani's debut, which is a wonderful debut for anybody. Like, um, yeah, it's just like like from the beginning that you see. So when you see this movie, the first thing that the title scenes of title cards of this film, it's actually like pinups, like
Mhm.
cutouts of, like, like porn magazines, I assume, from the 80s. And it's all like very racy pictures of like women wearing bikinis, or like, like, like and there are like rap videos being made today. There are like Bollywood videos being made today that have like more racy
There's
images.
workout videos, like gym videos, reels that are more explicit than this.
Yeah.
But it's all like, so it sets an expectation like, oh my God, like, it's about like sex. And then it shows like three of the most sexless men that ever lived. They're like the anti-sex
Yeah.
men. And it is like you see them being like chichoras, like they're like literally the first time that Ravi Baswani and Rakesh Bedi see Deepti Naval, they're looking at her from like the rooftop and they're like trying to catcall her, like she's like on the street walking away from them.
Can I also say, like, you have this idea of, if women only dressed modestly, men would
Uh-huh.
not bother her. Deepti is dressed like anybody's aunt, like, basically. Like, it doesn't stop men from the sixth floor to be calling at her.
And the irony is that Omi and Jay, Rakesh Bedi and Ravi Baswani, they think of themselves as the hotshot game guys, right? And
Yeah.
they are speaking to each other in absolute like Lucknowi poetry, like shayari pe shayari. It's just piling on shayari, and just Siddharth is like the economics major, just looking at them like, what language are these two speaking in? And then these two losers just kill their own selves.
Hmm.
That point where like and the thing is with the Urdu poetry also, it's not just that they're using Urdu poetry, it's that they're saying it with like the accent.
Mhm.
you like they don't say like maaf kije, they say like
Wow.
maaf kije. Like it just killed me the first time that like Rakesh Bedi has this flashback where he is sort of like
Mohtरमा.
where he is like sort of like recasting everything that went down between him and Deepti Naval. And he literally starts off by like, she's like opening the door in like this white salwar kameez, and he's like, Mohtरमा, maaf kijiye. I'm like, what? What? What the hell? It's
Yeah,
just little things like that that are just like,
so outlandish.
But also the thing is that, okay, like it's the era, right? So these are probably young men, although they look all like uncles, but they're actually quite young men, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
even to be able to, speak proper Urdu poetry is already a skill set that a lot of people now do not possess, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's when you think about it, right? Like it is,
And
it's just hilarious, the dynamics that you're seeing in this.
I mean, the little cultural things are like it. This was like what, 40 years ago, 45 years ago, and like we are like a completely different country, right? Like there's this part where when they're trying to convince Farooq Sheikh to get a job so that he can support their bad habits, right? And they're like, look, here's a job advertisement, and they want like somebody who has like a first class honors in economics, and you're the perfect person for it. And he's like, I don't want to work, I want to study. I'm like, you already have an MA, like what the hell are you going to do? And he's like, and they're like, no, but like you can make money. And he's like, what am I going to do with money?
Yeah.
And I'm like, the way this country has moved from
Yeah.
that mindset, like I don't know anybody today that
I
would
don't
be
know,
like,
like catcalling in Delhi has obviously become 100 times more violent,
yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
And
There's a scene where there's a woman standing on the street. First of all, in Delhi, no woman is like standing like that on the
yeah,
street, like no way. And then these two idiots are on their most khatara bike that, they're just going down the thing, and they are like whistling at this girl. And this girl doesn't move an inch. And I'm like, the Delhi that I grew up in, if I saw two men like that on a motorcycle, I would be running for my life.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't even like try to be like a hero and be like, oh, I can fight them. No, no, no. I'm running for my life.
But then
And
he
this,
circles back. The second
yeah,
girl gets on the bike, and then she
yeah.
goes to her date, and she's like, and that woman is, by the way, Winnie Paranjpye, the daughter of Sai Paranjpye.
Oh, oh, I did wonder. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
also like that he got like all high five and dressed up to do that move. Like I'll like wear my floral shirt and like my flat bottoms and stuff like that. I'm gonna go seduce some women on my
Yeah.
bike, and it just goes horribly for him. That was just like hilarious.
And the good thing is, even with all the bad things that they do, at the end they do say sorry, but then they don't get their like retribution, or like their arc still makes them like the two losers in the group.
but like that, to me, like again, like that's one of the things that I really love about this movie, because it's the story of three friends, and it
Mhm.
remains the story of three friends.
Yeah.
Like friends sometimes do things that you're just like, why the fuck did you do that to me? And then you're just like, oh, like I don't know, like it seemed like a good idea at the time, I'm sorry. And then you just sort of like make reparations, and then you come back again. Like they're like real friends. They're not just like "Muh bole bhai," like they're like
Mhm.
actual bhai. And
And
they
that's what,
also,
like when the two lie,
yeah,
when the two guys they lie about Neha and being that, oh,
yeah,
ye ladki chalu hai and all of
yeah,
that. Farooq Sheikh has no doubt that that is a
yeah,
lie, right? He's
yeah,
like, how, why would they lie to me?
yeah. These are his brothers. Like
Mhm.
of course he believes them. And also the way he tells her, I'm sorry, like I know it was like a really like like sad moment, and then he's like telling Neha like don't even talk to me again, like all that. But it was like the funniest breakup scene that I've ever seen, where he's literally like like, you bad girl, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're a
I've seen
chichi
your
girl.
bathroom. I've seen your bathroom curtains and the color of your sink, and that's the proof.
Yeah,
It's from a very innocent era,
Yeah, yeah.
and
yeah,
I love it. But
yeah.
Asim,
Hmm.
sorry, you were saying something?
No, no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
So, Asim, how do you feel about your one true hated enemy, Saeed Jaffrey?
I was really like, that's what I was gonna say. I think we're saying goodbye to the 80s era soon, but this is ultimately we're saying goodbye to Saeed Jaffrey now,
Yeah.
because
When we started this 80's Dhamaka series, I did not expect Saeed Jaffrey to be such a regular feature in all the
I
movies.
I know, like he's like omnipresent. Like there's
Yeah,
an
we
era
thought
where
there
like
will be Amrish Puri, there will be Kader Khan, but Said Jaffrey, man,
Jeffrey. Yeah, Sai
yeah,
Jeffrey.
and
he played his game.
yeah, and he's done everything. He's been like
Uh-huh.
villain, he's been dad, he's been rich dad, he's been poor dad, he's been
Yeah,
like all the
he's
Robert
been like
Kiyosaki
Panwala.
books, like
He's been Panwala in Delhi.
Yeah, and I would say this would probably be the best out of the roles that he
Mhm.
has. I still don't like him. I don't still don't understand the kind of role he's trying to play. I just don't like Said Jaffrey. He's like the Jeremy Renner for me. I just don't like him. I'll never like him. But I think this movie was good. I think it kind of like I like the interaction of him with
The three boys.
yeah. It's just this idea that they're scamming him, but he's letting them scam him.
Yeah.
Like he knows that they're trying to do, they're kids, and he kind of gives them that leeway. And I thought even when he's coming to them to threaten them and get the money back, there's still some sweetness to it, where he's almost like more teasing their legs than he's like some kasai that's gonna break their bones.
Yeah.
And I do think it speaks to an innocence of that era, but I also just think it's just the wholesomeness of the world that this movie is
Yeah.
creating. Like, okay, these guys they think they're playboys, but they're never creeps. Even the girl that he takes away on the bike, there's never any danger to her any moment, right? Even with and the Saeed Jaffrey thing, there's no even the breakup you're talking about. It's a breakup, like almost like a actual breakup would be, with sadness and like it's almost like you're saying, oh, they do it so awkwardly, but a lot of times when you have those situations in real life, later on you think, oh, I should have said that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it felt like. You just say whatever comes into your mind, but if you actually take your time later on, oh, I should have said this and that. This is what she deserves. But in the heat of the moment, you just say whatever random stuff comes up. And I think even with the Saeed Jaffrey thing, I think there's just some, like he's treating them like his kids, but it's also this idea that these kids will grow up, they will move away, and then other kids will come in.
Hmm.
Other
Yeah.
kids, so he's seen this before, he will see it, he will not move, he will be in that same space. And it's just like, yeah, I thought there was a sweetness to that role. I still don't like Saeed Jaffrey though.
Well, there's something to what you said, because he is the presence in that neighborhood, right? And then, like, these kids come for university, so they will be there for 4 or 5 years, and they become part of his sort of family for that period. But then they move away, and I totally associate that. When I was in university, we had the local panwala. We will call him by name, and he would know our names. But then we go away, and then when we come back years later, he will still recognize us. So
Yeah.
that sort of a relationship always exists. I especially love Lalan Mia, because he gets to say all, like Saeed Jaffrey gets to say all these lovely, lovely lines. There's one where when he says, paise kahan hai, and all of that, and Lalan Mia, aaj to chhod dijiye, main ladki ke piche ja raha hu, and he's like, and he gets really excited. Oh, ladki ke piche ja raha hai, to tu mera cycle le jaye.
Yeah.
He's like,
That is my favorite Lalania moment. And he goes like, because the scene before that, he was like literally dragging this kid to his stall by the scruff of his neck,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
literally by the scruff of his neck.
He says, "अबे गनीमत समझ, मैं तुझे थाने नहीं ले जा रही है." What a line!
And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, take my cycle if all you want to do is like follow a
And,
girl.
and when Vivek Vaswani's not Vivek Vaswani, what's his name?
Ravi
Ravi
Rakesh Bedi.
Baswani. Ravi Baswani says, like, he that gulabi kameez में एक लड़की दिखी थी, and he says, इस बीती जवानी की कसम, हमने भी ठंडी सी आ भर ली.
I love it. I love it.
It almost reminded me of Anu Kapoor in Tezab, where he's Guldasta, The funny part with these roles, and this is the reality, I think it's also just classism to a certain degree, right? Where these kids, like, they're 19, 18, and they feel that they're intellectually superior to a 40-year-old man, right? and like because he's like selling things and stuff like that, like there's this idea like we can take him for a ride,
Mhm.
and it's like he's seen so many of you guys, and
Yeah.
he's playing with you as much as you think you're playing with him. And it's
Mhm.
just such an interesting hierarchical mindset that like these kids have that we probably had. I never had this relationship with anybody, but
No BD walas in Belgium, Asif.
no. I mean, I mean, the dynamics are different, but they do exist. But we had like, we used to go to these night shops, like where you had like, drinks and beer and
Mhm.
DVDs late at night. But
Mhm.
I've never ever had a relationship where I thought I was like pulling one off of them or being overtly friendly. I'm just not that guy. I've never been that guy. Although I do feel sometimes I'm a smart aleck, but I never have done this in this manner. So it's just I've seen it a lot of times. But I also like a lot of times when that trope happens where the guy comes in 20 years later back to the cafeteria and he thinks he's left an impression and nobody remembers him. You know what I mean? I've seen that in a few movies too, and it's like, yeah,
I think
it's
there
just
was a scene in like Monsoon Wedding when
yeah,
the guy comes back and but he remembers somewhat that
yeah,
मैंने सोचा था आप ही होंगे and all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Although I do have to say, like a lot of times now when we're watching movies, we get the little warning about smoking is injurious to your health. I think some of this movie needed some warnings here because like the
A lot of
cigarette
smoking.
smoking, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I get it. It was a different era, right? Like
Yeah.
it's maddening,
Like these bachches, if they don't smoke, what else they will do? They don't have MP3 players. They don't have internet.
Yeah. But to me, it's the sharing of cigarette that really
Mhm.
gets to me. Like,
Yeah, because it's expensive, man. They are like it's like sharing Netflix passwords.
yeah,
I mean, they didn't even have TV in India at that time. Like, there's not even the
Yeah.
state TV. I think the state TV started like 3 or 4 years later or something.
I mean, I'm okay with sharing a cigarette, but sharing one that has been in the toes of the other guy and then smoking it, there are limits to those tea.
Oh,
We haven't talked about Deepti too much at the moment. Like, I think we should a little bit because
I love her, and I love the songs, especially where she's doing the fantasy songs.
Yeah.
And the one that she does for Ravi Baswani, where she's like, it's like all the
Bollywood
Hindi,
montage. Yeah.
I like loved it. Like all of it was like so much fun. Like I'd forgotten that song completely, and it was like a whole new
You,
experience.
you know what I like about that thing? It's because I love parodies, right? Like Naked Gun and all that. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about that because it's literally in theaters now and I haven't gotten to watch it yet. And it's a genre that I love so much. But what's also so great about parodies, it's how time specific they are, right?
Hmm.
And they'll pick something out that you would have not thought about, but it thinks, oh, they were in that time zone when they were making this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can even get this in movies like Epic Movie and Disaster Movie and all of those
Yeah.
things, that these were the things people were very much in the cultural zeitgeist at that time.
Yeah.
So, like when she's doing the parody song, she has Shisha ho ya dil ho toot
Yeah.
jata hai, right? And it's not like I know that there was a huge song, but it's not the go-to song I would have. Like
Hmm.
that's the one you should parody when you're in the 80s. But clearly, that was a song in that era that they wanted to parody. It was just like
Like even
interesting.
before that, like when Ravi Vaswani is trying to impress her by saying, "Oh, he's here in Delhi to cast." He says, "Jaya ji ke baad vacuum aa gaya hai industry mein."
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, no, it's great. But what I also really like, and it's weird because obviously movie is made by a female director, and a female director who's not like Farah Khan, right? She's not making a big ass commercial masala movie. She's making a very kind of small movie about a life lived. But I think a lot of it's such an interesting balance how Dipti's character is written, because she's not the central part of the story. She's kind of the catalyst to it.
Mhm.
But she does get to play a very kind of rounded out character, right? A lot of times she has to play the female fantasy of these guys. Then she also has to play the fantasy of the audience, and then she also is a real person that wants to have she wants to have a job, she wants to work, she wants to have a life, she wants to marry this guy that she actually likes, and then she gets sad when that doesn't work out. And it's such a complex character sometimes that I would think, I don't remember, like a lot of times in the 80s you would just be the love interest, right? And I think it's so cool that Dipti gets to play all of these different facets, and she also just gets to play like the classical heroine in those parody songs,
Yeah.
right? So it's really, really cool that she gets to do all of that in this movie, where she's not like the main character, I would say, right? It's really about the boys and their friendship more than anything.
Also, she loves her tutti frutti, which I love.
Yeah, again, it's such an 80s word. Like, I don't even have said tutti frutti in 40 years.
But also, like, as a woman, like, so this is what I remember about the 80s, right? That is especially, I don't know how to feel about it, because right now, like, everything is about being a trad wife and like how amazing it was when women didn't have rights, etc. But I remember movies like this where Miss Chamko comes from a family that is well off. She could just be like sitting on her ass all day and like waiting for her dad to bring home the money. But she's out there selling like like doing surveys for washing powder, like detergent powder.
No, she mentions that she doesn't have to work for money. She
Yeah.
just does it as a side job. She's really passionate about is music, and she goes to
Yeah.
the music lessons, and she
Yeah.
does that whole thing.
And that's what I mean. Like, like she has like a life's work, and then she has the job that like pays her bills. And there's a point where like they go out to eat something, and he's like, oh, like I haven't gotten paid. Like, oh, he's gotten the job at her dad's company, and but he's just gotten the job, so he doesn't have any money. And she's like, well, that's all right, because I've been paid, and I'm like, and she pays for their date with the money that she's earned. And I remember little bits and pieces of like 80s movies like that I grew up on, where it was reinforced that, like women could have a job, like women could be like actual people with like dreams and ambitions. And it's so odd to be watching that today in 2025 when that sort of thinking is being vilified for women.
Even just the idea of going door to door and selling something in the house of single men. Like, I was like, when she knocked on Farooq Sheikh's door, and I think she was looking for somebody else or whatever she was trying to sell, and she still comes into this porn wall house. I was like, wow, like it really was a different era.
Yeah.
No stranger danger there.
Yeah, exactly. No Sydney Sweeney posters in the background,
No.
I was going to say, what do you think of kind of the final breakup to make up finale kind of sequence, and also just that, because there's also this thread about a serial killer around in the movie too.
It wasn't, I think it was like, I don't know if they were killing the girls, but like they were kidnapping these women. I
For
think.
ransom.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what I'm assuming that's based on something that was happening in the 80s, probably, right? Like,
I mean, it's Delhi. It's
Yeah.
happening.
So, I get that.
a lot of kidnapping going on.
Yeah.
No.
Stop trying to make kidnapu happen.
Kidnapping has already happened. It's like, I'm bringing it back. But yeah, I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that sequence, because it does end into like this fighting in a
Like farcical.
shooting, yeah. But it doesn't go into that Andaz Apna Apna, Shakti Kapoor, Salman Khan level either, right?
No.
So I was like, what is this trying to do?
I think I was like waiting for it to descend to like absolute mayhem, the Andaz Apna Apna style, especially because the bad guy, like the actual kidnapper, he's hilarious. Like the way that they have him, like with this hair, and the way that he's just sort of like staring at them the whole time. He doesn't really have like dialogues, but he's just sort of like staring at them, and it is one of the funniest things that I've seen. But yeah, like I don't, I guess they needed to finish the story somehow.
Yeah. It's
I just
also
found it funny, like how Leela Mishra, the Dadi, gets involved in all of this, and like she gets one of the funniest scenes when she's trying to climb up the stairs. So
I felt
after
so bad for her. I felt so,
मैं
I
और
was
हिल नहीं सकती मैं यहीं पे हूँ.
I was thinking of my mom having to climb
Yeah,
4 flights of stairs. I was like, 4, don't make her do. And
yeah,
then she has to sit in the porn wall room also.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
yeah.
And then, like, she implements the plan. She goes to the mandir with her
Yeah.
grandchild, and like they get the wrong
And
taxi.
then like she's just like, "ये मैंने क्या कर दिया?"
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And then obviously, in true Bollywood style, the police arrives at the last, and then
Sai Jafri brings the police because the
Yes.
police wala is at the pan wala and he brings him, which is like an insane situation. Like the police would listen to the pan wala now, right? Like 80's, man, innocent times.
yeah.
I want to talk about the best scene of the movie, which we
Mhm.
haven't talked about, which is obviously the Amitabh Rekha sequence. Guys, can I just say, like Farooq Shaikh, Deepti Naval, all fine. When Amitabh and Rekha come on screen, you are hit with star power. Like your eyes explode. You're like, oh my god, look at these people. They're so beautiful. They're so amazing. Why is there not more of them?
I mean,
You-
it makes sense for Ravi Baswani to try the Rumal technique because Amitabh did
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. But it's just like, that's the thing, right? Amitabh pulls it off, or at least makes us believe that Amitabh would pull it off because it's
Or
freaking Amitabh
any chora
Bachchan.
can do that. Any chora
Yeah.
can do that. Amitabh makes you believe that,
Yeah.
but
It's
only Amitabh can do that.
yeah. And like it's like also just the fact that Rekha didn't need that much patawing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I don't know why or who like talk to these people to like make them make this
Yeah.
movie, but I'm like, there's like multiple. I'm sure there's like multiple shadings going on. That it's sadly lost to time.
Yeah. But it's just crazy seeing these two on screen, and also just kind of cool that they came. Like it feels like that era that there was like probably like doing favors and helping each other out with.
Yeah.
They 100% weren't paid for them. They weren't paid for this 100%. You know what happened? Probably the director found them together in the car while they were driving in Kashmir, and they were like, "I'll release these photos in 40 years if you don't come into my movie." Yeah. Music. Sujoy, you were talking about who? Yesudas? Is that the
Yeah.
person? Yeah.
The
What do you
Kahan
think
Se Aaye
of?
Batra song.
Yeah. What do you think of the soundtrack of this? Because it's weird, right? It's a different kind of soundtrack.
Yeah, it's like it's very Rishikesh Mukherjee actually, like Rishikesh Mukherjee coded, I would say,
Yeah. Who
right?
is the composer of this?
Raj Kamal.
Kamal. I have a friend called Raj Kamal, but I don't know if he
Did
composed
he
this.
do it?
No.
Never told you.
No, I have no idea what other soundtracks he's composed music for Saaz, which is another Sai Paranjpye movie about the
Yeah.
Mangeshkar sisters. But I think that also had music by Bhupen Hazarika and Ustad Zakir Hussain and all of that. The music of Chashme Buddoor, yeah, it's very different. It's not necessarily like memorable hit pop, chart music. It's fun whilst you watch it in the context of the movie. I would say, like even like the Kali Ghodi Dwar Khadi song is quite fun, and obviously the Is Nadi Ko Mera, where Rakesh Bedi is having his flashback.
I really like the song with the three guys. I don't know, because it's such a cacophonous kind of composition where they have just layered these like tracks, audio tracks, and these vocals on top of each other. It's something that I'd never heard before. It's not necessarily something that I was like, oh, now I'm gonna work out and listen to this song or this soundtrack. But it was
Is
just
that the Pyar Lagawat Pranay Mohabbat?
Yeah, that one, right? It's just such a unique composition, something that I'd literally never heard before. I thought that was really, really interesting, and just fun, like, because you don't get the guys having fun. A lot of times they're just complaining to each other, and like that moment is just them having fun together. And I thought that was a really, really cool, because sometimes that also happens with male friends, that we actually have fun together. Doesn't happen a lot.
My favorite was actually the and not the musically, but like my favorite was the Park song, where they're just sort of like talking about like, oh, like how do
Making
people
up
like sing in
rhyming words.
yeah, and then it's like it's a very meta song, right? Like they're like talking
Yeah.
about like
Yeah.
how ridiculous it is that like people would sing in a park, and then they end up like singing in a park. And I lost it when the bear came out of the bushes to stare at them. I was like, what the hell? I actually had to rewind because I was like, that is not a bear, is it? And it was. And then
Mm.
they get like super embarrassed and they run away, and like somebody is just like in the background going, Sharam nahi aati, park mein aake gana gaate ho.
Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah.
But like it's the kind of like whimsy that again, like we talk about this all the time on Khandan. Like we miss having whimsy, but this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Like I miss people just having like a light touch when they're talking about things. Like everything
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like life or death. Like everything doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like, here's my political manifesto.
Hmm.
It's just like a little bit of like lightheartedness about like something that we all have found ridiculous at some point, maybe. It's so charming.
Yeah.
My sort of like take from this rewatch is basically that one scene where Miss Chamko demonstrates the tauliya and the safedi ki chamkar bar bar lagatar and all of that. And she puts out the tauliya and she's like, "Kitna saaf dikh raha hai na?" And he's like, नहीं मैंने आपको लॉन्ड्री का साफ वाला तौलिया दिया था, मैं आपको गंदा तौलिया कैसे दे सकता हूँ? Such a innocent moment. It's just, yeah.
I would be surprised if these guys together have one clean tauliya in the house. So,
Yeah.
So, Joe, any final thoughts? Any notes that we haven't gotten over?
No, I think I've pretty like this has many things from that era, like Charminar cigarettes, which are no more, the yellow packet, the Campa Cola, and the bullet that they ride on. It's very much of that era.
I had one here. When Rakesh Bedi comes at Deepti's house, she doesn't think he's the plumber. She thinks he's the guy that works for the plumber. So she doesn't even give him the status of a plumber.
The plumber sent a chotu.
Yeah, that's where Rakesh Bedi stands.
And the funniest thing is like after that when he's sitting dejected on the park bench and like the other couple comes and the man, like the girl's about to sit next to him and her date is just like stop and then sit on the other side.
Hilarious.
I also saw that obviously I mentioned that Delhi is not as crowded, in the 80s when this is, and they go to the one restaurant where they have the tutti frutti because there are no restaurants around. That's the one in the whole neighborhood, right? And Farooq Shaikh asks, "Yaha kya acha hai?" And the waiter says, "Mahol acha hai." The waiter is also sassy.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is that when Deepti comes to their house for the first time and Rakesh Bedi and Ravi Baswani need to hide because they're just like, oh no, after everything that he said.
Yeah.
And so they basically jump over the wall. And then when Farooq Shaikh is like, where did these guys go? I can't see. And then he looks over the wall and they're standing on the window like, why are you standing on the window ledge? And then he's like, why didn't you come up? And then they like jump over the wall and you think they're gonna go back up, but they like run downstairs.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Any final thoughts, Amrita?
Go
I love
watch
this
it.
movie. Yeah, everyone should watch this movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoyed it when I didn't think I would. And it's also just so time and place specific. A lot of like a lot of times you'll watch an 80s movie or something like that, and you don't exactly know where it is. This really takes you to that place. It takes you to your own youth, to your own time between college and working and becoming an adult and things like that. And I think that's kind of the power of this movie too. It's maybe a more innocent time, I guess, but it was nice to visit it. It's kind of very, very nice, funny, wholesome. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect it to, so I'm really glad we watched this one. Great. Sujoy, where can people find you online?
You can find me on all my socials at 9E3K, and you can follow Khandan Podcast on all our socials at Khandan Podcast.
Amrita?
I'm on Twitter at Amrita IQ, but honestly, if you want to catch up with me, the best place to do it is Patreon. Khandan Podcast has its own Patreon where we post behind the scenes content. A lot of it is video. Asim does these letterboxed reviews. I do these catch-ups where we're just talking about life and what is happening in the news, etc. The news as in Bollywood news, because the other kind of news sucks. So if you want to catch up with us, then memberships start as low as $1. And we have promo discounts running, so you might want to look that up.
Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. Sign up for Patreon. Amrita, I think you just did a very long catch up again. You call it 5 minutes, but it's never 5 minutes. It's a very, very interesting one. People love those. I'm also making TikToks. I don't know how long I'll enjoy making TikTok, but at the moment I am. So follow us on TikTok there. We'll be back with the finale, the conclusion coming of the 80s series. And I think I posed this question on Patreon, but ask here too, what do you want us to do after the 80s are done? Do you want us to go back to just doing Khan movies, more about current? What have you missed that you really want Khandan to get into? We could just do gossips or thoughts about the year or something like that, or we could just do Khan movies because I miss Khan in my blood. So that would be good too. So let us know. Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. As Amrita said, we're not that much on social media, so an email is probably the best, and even better is signing up to Patreon and having a one-to-one with us there. Great. Okay, guys, that's it.
Khandan podcast from the Epiglottis. Papa, are you podcasting again?
Amrita is blocking me now.
Yes. I'm going to Instagram right now. Which one of you wrote that Instagram post about Amir's interview, by the way? Which one of you made that reel?
Me?
I think
Yeah. I laughed so hard when I saw it.
I was like, that is so... I was basically making that for you. It was that reel... That reel was for you. That music was for Sujoy. These are the two interests my friends have. I'm going to make a reel for my two friends. I'm going to tell them. I didn't even tell you guys. It just waited.
I opened Instagram and it was like a happy little surprise service just waiting for me.
I made it at 2:00 in the evening, at night, because I was thinking of you guys, and I was giddy with how much you would enjoy it. That's why I said to Sujoy, I think it's too niche. The niche being 3 people.
Well, the 3 of us had a good time. Watching that reel.
And that's all that matters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think also somebody on Instagram was like, I was going to email you to ask your thought, but this has summarized all the thoughts that we have about the Amir interview. Yeah.